battle against feral hogs in Texas is becoming more and more like a tactical race. Herds that were once easy to lure into traps are now more cautious, frequently changing their routes and showing up in larger numbers. After repeatedly watching cornfields get torn apart in a single night, Nick realized that a few small traps would never solve the problem long term. He decided to build a more organized control system that could monitor the hogs continuously, adjust trap placement as their behavior changed, and minimize the chances of any animals escaping. The biggest upgrade was a smart trap large enough to hold many hogs at once. Cameras allow Nick to monitor the trap remotely and close the gate only after most of the herd has entered. This is far more effective than older traps that often trigger too early, catching only 1 or 2 hogs while the rest escape and become wary of the area on future visits. With this setup, Nick can wait for the right moment, reducing the chances that the herd senses danger and begins avoiding the trap site in the days that follow. These massive circular traps are reinforced almost like steel vaults. Once the gate drops, hundreds of pounds of muscle can slam into the steel panels in a frantic attempt to escape. A fully grown boar is strong enough to bend steel tubing or damage welds if the structure is not built to withstand the impact. That is why every bolt, hinge, and connection point has to be reinforced. For control teams, keeping the entire herd contained is far more valuable than catching only a few individual animals. Success, however, depends on more than the trap itself. Where it is placed can be just as important. Feral hogs often follow established routes from dense cover into open fields. Control teams study tracks, muddy wallows, and patches of freshly rooted soil to identify the herd's invisible highways. Choose the wrong location, and the hogs may disappear from the area for weeks. That is why understanding their movement patterns can sometimes matter even more than the equipment used to control them. Bait also plays a major role. Fermented corn is one of the most common choices because of its strong smell and ability to draw hogs from a distance. Fruits such as watermelon, apples, and peaches can also work well, especially during hot weather when hogs are searching for moisture. When the right location is combined with the right bait, a single trap can sometimes capture dozens of hogs at once, significantly reducing crop damage and making it less likely that the herd will quickly return to the same area. Then the decisive moment finally arrives. Once most of the herd has moved inside, the cameras and motion sensors immediately send an alert to the control team. Within seconds, the heavy steel gate drops shut. After a brief moment of silence, the trap erupts with squeals, flying mud, and powerful impacts against the steel panels. The response team has to arrive quickly before the herd damages the structure or manages to force its way out, creating a dangerous situation and potentially wasting all the effort that went into setting up the trap. The biggest mistake is often not where the trap is placed, but when it is triggered. If the gate is dropped too early, before enough hogs have entered, the remaining animals quickly learn that the area is dangerous and begin avoiding it. But if the team waits until most of the herd is comfortable entering the trap regularly, the chances of capturing the entire group increase dramatically. A slow response after the gate closes can also make surviving hogs more cautious and less likely to return, reducing the effectiveness of the control effort and allowing agricultural damage to continue longer. That is why feral hog control is about much more than simply setting a trap. It requires constant observation, planning, and adjustment. Moving traps to new locations over time can also help disrupt the animal's avoidance patterns, keeping the strategy effective and allowing control teams to adapt when the herd suddenly changes its behavior. If you found this useful, leave a comment and share your thoughts. And don't forget to follow for more practical feral hog control strategies in upcoming videos.
Oh, golly.
Goddamn boy. Good evening.
Just a few nights were enough for a sounder wild hogs to turn a large cornfield into a patchwork of churned up soil. Countless rows of crops were ripped out by the roots, irrigation systems were left badly damaged, and steel fences around the farm were punched full of holes by massive boars. As the destruction continued to grow, the landowner realized there was only one option left: launch a large-scale trapping operation. Instead of removing individual animals one by one, the goal was to capture the entire sounder in a single attempt. Only by eliminating nearly all the hogs in the area could the risk of future crop damage be significantly reduced. For years, wild hogs have been one of the most destructive pests facing farms across Texas. They spend the day hidden in thick brush and wooded areas before traveling miles every night in search of food. With powerful snouts built for rooting, they can destroy an entire field within just a few hours. Beyond wiping out crops, they also tear up irrigation lines, grazing pastures, and other vital farm infrastructure. Their high reproductive rate and remarkable ability to adapt to different environments allow their population to keep expanding, making traditional methods of scaring them away increasingly ineffective.
Korkmuyor mu?
After weeks of monitoring infrared trail cameras, the control team identified the route the sounder used every night between the woods and the cornfield. Fresh tracks and newly rooted soil confirmed this was the ideal trapping location. A circular trap measuring nearly 10 meters in diameter was quickly assembled. Heavy-duty steel panels were secured with deeply anchored steel posts strong enough to withstand the force of panicked hogs crashing against the fence. The only entrance was equipped with a remotely operated gate connected directly to the live camera system. The operators understood that closing the gate too early would leave a few hogs outside, allowing them to learn how to avoid the trap, and making future control efforts far more difficult. To make the hogs feel completely safe, fermented corn was spread throughout the trap for several consecutive days. During the first few nights, only a handful of animals entered the feed before leaving again. But after repeatedly finding food without encountering danger, the entire sounder began visiting more often. And staying longer inside the enclosure. The cameras captured groups of hogs casually walking through the gate without showing the slightest sign of caution. Then, one night, the long-awaited moment finally arrived. As the last hog stepped through the entrance and the entire group gathered around the bait, the operator activated the system. The steel gate slammed shut, sealing off the only escape route. Startled, the hogs charged in every direction, repeatedly crashing into fencing in a desperate attempt to break free, but the reinforced steel structure held firm. After several exhausting minutes of struggling, the entire sounder was fully contained inside the trap. At sunrise, the control team returned to inspect the results. More than 35 wild hogs have been captured in a single operation with a combined weight of several thousand pounds. It was considered one of the most successful trapping efforts the farm had seen in years. Removing nearly the entire sounder greatly reduced the threat to surrounding fields and gave local farmers a chance to protect future harvests. In just one successful trap activation, months of effort to defend the farmland had finally paid off, allowing the farmers to regain control of their property. The captured animals were then removed under established wildlife management procedures to prevent them from returning to the area. Even so, Experts warn that the battle against wild hogs is far from over because of their rapid reproduction and extraordinary adaptability. That is why large-scale trapping systems combined with continuous camera monitoring are becoming one of the most effective tools for protecting farmland from ever-growing populations of wild hogs.
Across the vast fields of Texas, wild hogs are appearing in increasingly large numbers, becoming a serious threat to agricultural production. No longer active only at night, many sounders now move openly across farmland in broad daylight. Each time they pass through, crops that farmers have spent months tending can be severely damaged. Some groups also appear near major roads and residential areas, digging up the ground and obstructing traffic. As a result, local residents have been forced to build massive steel trapping systems strong enough to hold an entire sounder, helping protect crops and limit further losses. At the edge of the forest, a farmer begins setting up a large steel trap. After firmly securing the fencing panels, he installs infrared cameras around the trap and along nearby trails, so the area can be monitored remotely. Corn is scattered in a trail leading from outside the entrance toward the center. When night falls, several hogs approach cautiously, repeatedly sniffing the air and watching their surroundings. At first, they eat only the bait placed outside the entrance, but eventually begin moving deeper into the trap. Still uneasy, however, the entire group soon turns around and leaves. Rather than triggering the gate too early, the farmer waits patiently until the animals become completely comfortable with the area. After many nights of placing bait and allowing the hogs to grow accustomed to the trap, the right opportunity finally arrives. Through the camera, the farmer watches as the animals enter one by one. Even then, he does not activate the system immediately, choosing instead to wait until most of the sounder has gathered around the pile of food. At exactly the right moment, he presses the control button. The steel gate drops instantly, trapping the entire group inside. The first successful capture brings new hope, but the camera footage also reveals that many hogs remain outside, continuing to damage crops each day. The population around the farm is still extremely large. Based on what they have observed, the farmers move on to build a second trap. A camera is installed in a favorable position, while corn is scattered from outside the entrance toward the center of the enclosure. Unexpectedly, the sounder appears in broad daylight. Within only a few minutes, nearly every hog has gathered around the corn in the middle of the trap. As soon as the final animal crosses the entrance, the system is activated. The steel gate quickly falls, securing the entire group in the middle of the day. This success proves that choosing the right location, monitoring the animals patiently, and waiting for the exact moment are far more important than closing the trap too soon. The following morning, local residents visit each trap one by one. Numerous wild hogs, ranging from small juveniles to large mature animals, are being held inside the strong steel enclosures. The group quickly handles the animals on site before removing them from the area. Once the work is complete, they collect the remaining bait, dismantle any equipment that is no longer needed, and thoroughly clean the trapping sites. Leaving the area orderly and sanitary not only brings the operation to a safe conclusion, but also restores a cleaner environment for the surrounding land. Although the farmers have successfully trapped several sounders in a row, they understand that a large number of wild hogs still remain in the surrounding landscape. Even a brief pause in control efforts could allow them to return quickly, continue destroying crops, and reproduce at a rapid rate. For that reason, the campaign cannot end after only a few successful captures. The farmers must continue maintaining the trapping systems, replenishing bait, checking camera footage, and relocating the traps when necessary to provide long-term protection for their land. The wild hogs will return, and new challenges will continue to emerge. Yet the greatest value of this campaign is not measured by the number of animals captured, but by the lesson it offers about how people adapt when facing difficult conditions. Strength may solve a single problem, but only patience, knowledge, and careful preparation can produce lasting results. By observing before acting, using technology at the right moment, and taking responsibility for every decision, people can do more than protect their crops. They can also learn to live alongside nature with greater awareness and restraint.
Pigs gone wild. Researchers found that Texas has the worst feral hog problem in the entire country.
An estimated 6 million wild hogs roaming across the United States, causing roughly $1.5 billion in damage every year. Millions of these animals live in the wild, destroying crops, damaging infrastructure, and creating billions of dollars in losses annually. Numerous control programs have been implemented, ranging from hunting and drone surveillance to large-scale trapping systems, yet the results have remained limited. In 2021, at a hilly area covering more than 200 acres in Texas, wildlife rangers discovered a puzzling phenomenon: the carcasses of 17 wild hogs scattered throughout the forest. The strange part was not that they had died, but how they had died. Each animal had only been partially eaten around the neck and shoulder before being left where it fell. There were no signs of hunting, no traps, and no evidence that humans had been present. When the remaining tracks were analyzed, the results surprised many people. To understand the seriousness of the situation, it is important to look at the scale of the problem facing the United States. There are currently nearly 7 million wild hogs nationwide, with more than 2.5 million in Texas alone, spread across most counties. The danger lies not only in their numbers, but also in their remarkable reproductive capacity. A single sow can produce multiple litters each year with large numbers of piglets, allowing populations to recover rapidly even after large-scale eradication efforts. As a result, traditional control measures often struggle to keep up with their population growth. Wild hogs are difficult to control because of their mixed ancestry. Today's populations are the result of centuries of crossbreeding between escaped domestic pigs and European wild boars, creating animals with exceptional endurance, strong adaptability, and impressive physical capabilities. An adult can weigh more than 100 kilograms, possess thick skin, sharp tusks, and run at speeds approaching 50 kilometers per hour. They can easily breach fences, tear apart metal trash containers, and knock down obstacles with remarkable strength. Their ability to learn is an even greater concern than their physical power. Wild hogs do not rely solely on instinct. They also remember past experiences. If a trap captures part of a sounder, the remaining animals become cautious and avoid similar traps in the future. A failed hunting attempt can cause them to change travel routes, feeding schedules, and daily habits after just a single encounter. This rapid adaptability gradually reduces the effectiveness of many control methods. The economic damage caused by wild hogs in the United States is enormous. Every year, they inflict billions of dollars in losses by destroying crops and infrastructure. A group of just a few dozen animals can flatten an entire field in a single night. Many farms suffer crop losses while also spending tens of thousands of dollars repairing irrigation systems, pipelines, and other structures damaged by rooting and digging. For many landowners, the greatest loss is not what the hogs consume, but what they destroy. Beyond the economic impact, wild hogs also pose significant public health risks. They frequently come into contact with ponds, rivers, streams, and groundwater sources, allowing waste and disease-causing organisms to spread into the environment. Many individuals carry bacteria, viruses, and parasites that can affect both livestock and humans. When people hear about millions of wild hogs, they often ask a simple question: why not hunt them for food? In reality, the answer is more complicated. Wild hogs in the United States live in uncontrolled environments, may carry dangerous diseases, and must undergo strict inspection processes before their meat can enter the food supply. Now, let's return to Texas and an unexpected discovery. After careful analysis, researchers confirmed that the tracks found around the scene did not belong to bears or mountain lions, as many had assumed. Instead, they belonged to coyotes. This predator, far smaller than most people would have imagined, appeared capable of exerting pressure on wild hog populations. The finding immediately attracted scientific attention, because if coyotes truly influence wild hog numbers, a decades-long battle in the United States may have found a completely new direction for solution. If you found this story interesting, leave a comment and share your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories and unusual discoveries from the natural world.
No one would expect a green-orange grove to hide so many surprises. Beneath the fruit-laden branches, the soil around the trees had been torn into large patches, as though someone had plowed it overnight. The tracks led straight to the far end of the grove. As the farmers arrived, an adult wild boar suddenly rushed from the bushes. The dogs immediately followed, but the animals changed direction, split up, and disappeared into the thick vegetation. The group had to spread out and search. When one person approached the water, a loud noise suddenly broke the silence. Another boar burst from its hiding place and vanished from sight within seconds. The next stop was a large pasture where livestock usually grazed each day. From a distance, the ground still looked green, but the damage became obvious up close. Grass had been uprooted and the soil was dug into many small pits. In only one night, the wild boars had transformed an area the farmers had spent months maintaining. To confirm their suspicions, an infrared camera was installed in the field. The footage removed every doubt, showing the herd tirelessly tearing through the grass during both day and night. After identifying the herd's route, the farmers decided to install a large net trap. The strong net was stretched into a wide circle and secured with deep stakes, while the lower edge was carefully arranged so the boars could enter. That evening, the camera recorded several animals already inside, feeding on the bait. Soon afterward, the rest of the large herd followed through the opening and gathered around the food. By the time they realized they were trapped, it was too late. They ran in circles searching for an exit but could not cross the flexible net. The following morning, the herd panicked again when the team arrived. The workers approached cautiously, sorted the animals, and moved them onto specialized vehicles to remove them from the farm. Not every area was suitable for a net trap, so the farmers placed a steel enclosure along the route where the boars often crossed the ditch. Before installation was finished, dark clouds gathered, the sky dimmed, and lightning flashed. Heavy rain quickly turned the dry ground into a flooded area. Work continued after the storm, with each fence panel carefully connected. Even the standing water could not stop them. That night, attracted by the smell of food, the herd crossed the shallow water and entered the trap. The steel gate closed as soon as the trigger was touched, sending the animals running in confusion. By morning, the water had drained away, revealing an unexpectedly large catch with several adults. The farmers approached slowly, handled each animal, counted them, and loaded them onto specialized vehicles. Besides damaging crops, wild boars can also provide food when handled properly. The meat is cleaned, divided into portions and either grilled or slowly cooked in large pots. The preparation may be simple, but the meal still carries special meaning. With enough care, it can become a generous feast shared with friends and family. This reduces waste, adds a valuable food source, and partly offsets the losses caused by the herd. The wild boars that once left the orange grove in pasture and chaos were finally brought under control through patience and many days of preparation. From tracking and setting traps to collecting and preparing the animals, every step showed that farm life is never simple. The damage could not disappear immediately, but what was recovered was used rather than wasted. Perhaps the greatest lesson is not that humans defeat nature, but that they learn to adapt, coexist, and protect what matters most.
Texas has been battling wild hogs for decades. These animals destroy crops, tear up fields, and damage irrigation systems in a single night, causing major losses for farmers. Measures such as trapping, fencing, and hunting have been implemented, yet the wild hog population has continued to grow. Surprisingly, the turning point in this battle came not from technology or weapons, but from an accidental discovery in nature. During a survey in the Texas Hill Country, researchers noticed something unusual. In several areas that once had very high wild hog densities, the number of piglets had dropped significantly. At first, many believed this was the result of trapping campaigns. However, the collected data did not support that theory. Something else was quietly influencing the wild hog population. The answer gradually emerged through cameras placed in the forests. Across multiple locations, researchers repeatedly recorded coyotes hunting wild hogs, especially piglets. At first, these incidents were considered rare, but growing evidence showed that the behavior was far more common than expected. This discovery changed perceptions of a predator long viewed as a nuisance and suggested that coyotes could play an important role in naturally controlling wild hog populations. To verify what the cameras recorded, researchers analyzed coyote DNA samples and stomach contents across several states. The results revealed traces of piglets far more frequently than expected. This confirmed that coyotes were not simply scavenging carcasses, but were actively hunting young hogs. The finding quickly attracted the attention of wildlife agencies because it revealed an important missing link that had been overlooked for years. When data from multiple years were combined, a clear pattern emerged. Areas with stable coyote populations consistently showed much lower piglet survival rates. In contrast, regions where coyotes were heavily hunted experienced faster wild hog population growth. This created an unexpected paradox. Farmers often viewed coyotes as enemies, yet this predator was helping control one of the most destructive animal species in the United States. However, relying on nature alone was not enough. Wildlife managers understood that coyotes could slow wild hog population growth, but could not completely solve the problem. As a result, Texas began combining the role of this predator with modern technology. Smart traps were installed on many farms and designed to activate only when nearly the entire sounder had entered, increasing efficiency and reducing the chance that hogs would learn to avoid them. Interestingly, these traps are not activated immediately. Before any capture takes place, operators often spend several days allowing the hogs to become comfortable visiting the bait site while the gate remains open. Over time, the animals begin to view the area as a safe food source and return in increasingly larger groups. Once their caution disappears, a single remote activation can capture dozens of hogs at once. Today, this method is considered one of the most effective wild hog control strategies available. The real change came when counties and farms began working together instead of acting independently. One area would set traps, while another monitored activity with cameras or applied additional control measures. When pressure was applied simultaneously across large regions, wild hogs could no longer easily move elsewhere to continue breeding. Thanks to this strategy, many communities reported major declines in wild hog numbers within just a few years. In the end, the most important lesson is not found in modern traps or expensive control programs. What stands out is that nature had been quietly providing part of the solution long before people recognized it. Coyotes are neither heroes nor villains. They are simply fulfilling their role as predators within the ecosystem. The story of Texas shows that sometimes the most effective solution is not to fight nature, but to understand it and work with the systems that already exist.
In less than a week, a large sounder of wild hogs tore through dozens of acres of farmland, leaving the fields almost unrecognizable. Rows of soybeans and corn that were nearly ready for harvest were rooted up, fences were knocked out of place, and irrigation systems were heavily damaged night after night. As the destruction continued to escalate, the landowner decided it was time for a large-scale control operation. Instead of chasing or trapping individual hogs, the goal was to capture the entire sounder in a single attempt. Leaving behind even a few animals would allow them to learn how to avoid the trap, making future control efforts far more difficult. Over the past several years, wild hogs have become one of the biggest challenges facing many Texas farms. They live in wooded areas and thick brush, then use the cover of darkness to move into crop fields. In just one night of feeding, they can devastate an entire section of farmland. Their population continues to grow rapidly thanks to their high reproductive rate and remarkable ability to adapt to different environments. Wild hogs will eat almost anything, including grains, vegetables, fruit, and small animals. Large adult boars are powerful enough to tear through metal fencing and root up compacted soil in a matter of minutes, making traditional deterrents largely ineffective. After several weeks of collecting footage from infrared trail cameras, the control team identified the route the sounder consistently followed each night. The path ran between a nearby water source and the fields that had suffered the worst damage. A circular trap measuring nearly 10 meters in diameter was then installed. Heavy-duty steel panels were joined together to form a secure enclosure, reinforced with steel posts driven deep into the ground to withstand the force of panicked hogs trying to escape. The only entrance was equipped with a remotely operated gate connected directly to the camera system. Rather than closing the trap as soon as a few hogs entered, the operator patiently waited until the entire sounder had moved well inside. That patience proved to be the key to the operation's success. Over the following days, fermented corn was spread throughout the trap to make the area feel safe and inviting. At first, only a few hogs entered to feed before quickly leaving. But after several nights without encountering any danger, more and more animals began visiting the trap. Cameras recorded the entire sounder moving freely in and out without showing any signs of caution. Finally, the long-awaited moment arrived. On the live monitor, one hog after another walked through the entrance and gathered around the bait. The operator waited a few more minutes to make absolutely certain no animals were left outside. The instant the last hog entered, the remote gate was activated. The heavy steel gate dropped into place, sealing off the only exit. Realizing something was wrong, the entire sounder erupted into panic, charging in every direction and desperately searching for a way out. However, the reinforced steel enclosure held firm. After several minutes of struggling without breaking through the trap, the exhausted hogs were completely contained inside the enclosure. At daybreak, the control team arrived to inspect the results. More than 30 wild hogs had been captured in a single operation. The combined weight of the animals totaled several thousand pounds, making it one of the most successful captures ever recorded in the area. The operation significantly reduced pressure on nearby farmland and helped prevent further crop damage in the weeks ahead. The captured hogs were then removed from the property under established wildlife management procedures to keep them from returning and causing more destruction. Capturing nearly the entire sounder at once also greatly reduced the chances of the remaining animals reproducing and forming a new group. Even so, with their rapid breeding rate and incredible adaptability, wild hogs will continue to be a major challenge for farmers. That is why large-scale trapping systems combined with remote camera monitoring are becoming one of the most effective tools for protecting crops from the growing threat of wild hog populations.
Cut a few. Let's go, pigs. Come on. Come on, pigs. Let's go, pigs. Trailer, come on. Go get in the trailer. Come on.
For many years, wild boars have become one of the most destructive species affecting American agriculture. From cornfields in Texas to peanut farms in Georgia, they leave behind damaged crops, broken irrigation systems, and lost harvests in just a single night. What is even more concerning is that they are not only numerous, but also highly intelligent, quick to learn, and remarkably adaptable, often overcoming control measures. However, in recent years, new strategies have begun to change the course of this battle. At first, farmers believed that the most effective solution was to frighten the boars away. They installed flashing lights, alarms, sound cannons, and other noise-making devices during the night. Initially, the results were promising, but before long, the herds returned as if they had never been driven away. Cameras recorded them calmly feeding, even while loud blasts echoed nearby. This showed that when a valuable food source is available, the instinct to feed is often stronger than fear. When scare tactics stopped working, farmers began studying how wild boars perceive their surroundings. At night, they rely mainly on their sense of smell and hearing, while their eyesight is relatively limited. Many farms cover the lower sections of fences with dark materials to slow the animals down. However, their exceptional sense of smell is what truly guides their behavior. They can detect food from long distances and remember familiar scent trails. Farmers took advantage of this by creating scent corridors that lure boars away from crops and directed them toward prepared traps. From that point, a much smarter strategy emerged. Baiting areas were no longer used only to attract animals, but were also designed as pathways leading into massive traps. In many cases, the boars never realized they were entering a controlled area. They simply followed the strongest food scent they could detect. Once the entire sounder was inside, an automatic gate system was activated, allowing the whole group to be captured in a single operation. Researchers also discovered that timing is just as important as the trap itself. Data collected from cameras and tracking devices showed that most feeding activity occurs during specific hours of the night. If boars experience a failed attempt or are captured during that period, they tend to avoid the area for several days afterward. This has allowed farmers to significantly reduce the frequency of control efforts. Even so, another reality soon became clear. Many farms successfully removed local populations, only to see new groups appear a few months later. Recent studies show that wild boars can travel much farther than previously believed. Young animals are capable of leaving their birthplace and moving dozens of kilometers in search of new territory. As a result, effective control often requires cooperation among landowners across much larger areas. Technology is also playing an increasingly important role. Drones equipped with thermal cameras allow control teams to locate groups of boars hidden in dense vegetation that is difficult for people to access. Instead of spending hours searching, teams can identify exact locations and coordinate operations in real time, greatly improving efficiency. Another discovery adopted by many farms involves water sources. During extended heat waves, wild boars depend heavily on ponds, canals, and mud wallows to cool themselves. When natural water becomes scarce, they gather around a small number of fixed locations. Many landowners have taken advantage of this behavior by controlling access to water and placing traps at strategic points, significantly increasing capture success rates. Today, the fight against wild boars is no longer simply a conflict between humans and a destructive species. It has become a contest between nature's ability to adapt and human technological innovation. Smart fencing, more effective traps, surveillance drones, and cooperative programs are producing encouraging results. Yet the most important lesson remains understanding how wild boars think, move, and survive in order to reclaim the farmland they have invaded.